At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot, Rico. It's Rico and Bot live on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel on a Friday night, and it's not just any ordinary Friday night. It's a Halloween Friday night, but it's even more unordinary than that. It's even more special than that because it is the Friday before the annual showdown, the greatest game of the year every year, the 10th meeting between two of the modern-day greats. It's Josh Allen. It's Patrick Mahomes. Live in Buffalo, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern from Orchard Park, New York tonight. We'll dive into it. We'll preview it. We'll talk about how massive this game is for both teams. Rico, been far too long. We haven't sat down together since the Falcons game. You've been out and about. Bills, in the meantime, bye week, drub the Panthers. Here we are, 5-2, awaiting the Kansas City Chiefs. How are you feeling, brother?
I am feeling good. I'm feeling alive. We are blessed. We're breathing. We're walking. We're here. And we get to witness the Buffalo Bills hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And ladies and gentlemen, regular season records, do they matter to you? Are you interested in that? Because the Bills are 4-1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Does it matter to you? Do you see something where you're like, I want that fifth win? Or are you ready to say, you know what? If we win it, we win it. If we don't, we don't. Because the one win that we do want is the one later down the road. So big game or not. Some folks, I tell you right now, Bot, some folks just don't care about this game. They're just like, yo, just get this game over with. I don't care who wins. Because what matters is that playoff game at the end. Now, do you feel that same sentiment? Or are you like, no. Give me that win. I want it.
No, give me that win. Look, I understand that this game isn't indicative of what's going to happen in January. That's a fact, and we know that to be true. The Bills have, I believe, beat the Chiefs in 4 consecutive seasons here in the regular season. They're 4-1 against them in the regular season. And if they are to win Sunday, insane to believe, but it's the truth. If they win Sunday, this series will now be a dead even split at 5 apiece. 5 for the Chiefs, 5 for the Bills. This has been the most competitive rivalry that you could possibly find in the NFL as it stands right now. The problem is that rivalry doesn't feel as much of a rivalry as it should because the ones that have mattered most have all gone to one side, and we know what side they've gone to. But this game's a bit different than the others in the regular season, Rico.
Why? Tell me why.
You now have these two teams coming in not at the top of their division. This is a unique circumstance. Usually these two teams are a shoo-in to win their division. Currently, as it stands right now, both these teams are on the outside looking in of the top of their division. You also look at the AFC right now, which is as wide open as it's ever been. I mean, hell, you got the Baltimore Ravens go into last night's game against the Dolphins at 2-5, and they're minus money to win the division. I mean, that's how wild the AFC has been. But you're looking at this game with the 1-seed implications, with the division implications, with who they have to play moving forward. Yep. This game is a lot bigger, I think, than perhaps it's been in years past because of these two teams and where they currently sit right now within their division, where they currently sit in the AFC. And I mean, you look at the Chiefs, for instance, right? They already have that third loss. The Bills don't. If they lose on Sunday, then they, of course, get their third loss. They're tied with the Chiefs based on record there. But if the Chiefs lose, Rico, you got the Bills at 6-2 with the Chiefs at 5-4. And that would put them 2 games behind Denver if Denver were to win this upcoming week. And if the Bills continue down their path here, then they would have a 2-game lead on the Chiefs, or at least a game and a half before the Chiefs hit their bye. This is huge. I mean, you can argue it's even bigger for Kansas City, which is odd because we don't typically see this in the regular season. But I understand the hesitancy to want to get this win to prove something moving forward. But this is bigger than that. This is bigger in the grand scheme of the playoff picture and where these two teams finish moving into the postseason, Rico. So I think that this one is big, and I think that it's really going to help determine how this AFC winds up panning out when it's all said and done.
And a lot of questions are coming out there. Who is it more important for? And I'll tell you right now, it's important for these Chiefs, boy, because the Broncos are not a slouching team. The Chargers, they're on a mission. I mean, the Raiders, I thought they were going to do something this year, but they don't have it. It's a 3-man race, and the Chiefs cannot afford to lose this one. So they're going guns a-blazing. And here's the crazy thing is, the Bills started off the season red hot. The Chiefs started off the season just ice cold. And now there's been a shift. It feels like there's been a shift where the Bills are they're reeling. They're not sure who they are right now, while the Chiefs are like, bro, we just get warmed up. So this is a big opportunity for the Bills to find their identity. I don't know if you can find it in one game, or you can dive into this rivalry and say, oh, yeah, we're playing the Chiefs. We got to get back up for this thing. But there is just a contrast between where these teams are now from when they began. And right now, momentum, it feels as though it's with the Chiefs because they've gotten healthier. Their offense has got everybody tuned up. I mean, Pacheco is going to be out a little bit. They're missing their left tackle in Simmons, but their replacement has been doing just fine. So this matchup is going to be something. Now, I would have thought this was going to be a primetime game. I kind of don't mind that it's at 4:00. So we can kind of, get on with our lives afterwards. But this is a huge game nonetheless. It's a treat for all fans. But something inside me is stirring and telling me this game may not feel like it's part of that rivalry that we've been having. I feel like the Bills are just a notch or two below where they need to be. And the Chiefs are just they're hot right now. They're figuring out who they are. So I don't know if I like this matchup in particular against this Chiefs teams, where we're kind of still figuring out who the hell we are at receiver. We're still figuring out if Josh is dealing with an ailment, or is it just in his head, or does he not trust anybody? There's a lot more. Let's put it this way. There are a lot more questions with the Bills right now than there are with the Chiefs. And I'm sure Chiefs fans were going through the same thing at the beginning of the year. So par for the course is what they say. Well, this is our turn to go through it. So now the question is, how do you respond? How do you respond? And who's going to stand next to Josh Allen when he tries to respond against these boys? So it's going to be a tough one, brother. It's going to be a tough one. But nonetheless, a win is what we need. So I'm with you on that one.
All of that is 100% accurate. It does feel like the Chiefs are on a different level right now than Buffalo, and I feel like we look back at how the season started for the Chiefs, and we can draw back on that if we want, but the reality is that was a month and a half ago, and they have completely figured it out up until this point. Ever since that Ravens game, really, Lamar was healthy for that game. They beat the Ravens 37-20. Then they go on to lose to Jacksonville, right? And then you're at that point, which was only a couple weeks ago, at that point, you're really scratching your head. Because it felt like they dominate the Ravens. They beat the hell out of the Giants. But you look at the Giants game and you're like, the Giants, right? But the Ravens were still healthy at that point. They beat the Ravens soundly. But then you lose to Jacksonville, and it felt like this might be a different year for Kansas City based on the way that they started. But they followed that up with these last 3 games here. They destroyed Detroit. They only hold Detroit to 17 points, right, which based on what that offense can do, that is very that's very impressive on Kansas City's end of things. What I look to as well is what this offense has been able to do this year as opposed to last year. This offense is back to vintage Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid offense. You're looking at the last 5 games here, Rico. They've scored 28-plus points in all 5. They've scored more than 30 in 3 of those 5. We draw back to 2024. They didn't crack the 30-point mark until, of course, they played Buffalo in the AFC Championship. They didn't do it once the entire regular season. Man. This is becoming routine now. And now not only do you pair that, or not only do you get threatened by that, because, of course, we've come to know the Chiefs as a team that lives and dies by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid in this offense. But as time went on, it became the defense that seemed to be the identity of Kansas City. And you're still getting pretty damn good defense from the Kansas City Chiefs. The last 3 weeks, they hold the Commanders to 7, the Raiders to 0. And those might be outliers because those two teams are towards the bottom of the league right now. But I go back to that Lions game where they do hold Detroit, that stout offense in every category, to just 17 points. So this team is clicking on all cylinders. The thing with the Buffalo Bills is, at least last week, they really did click on all cylinders. And I'm not going to rule out the Panthers game as being an outlier in terms of getting it done against a crappy team. That Panthers defense, in terms of going up against the run, was really damn good going into that Buffalo game. They weren't allowing anybody to run on them. And then, of course, on the other end of things, they were running all over everybody. The Bills shut down that run game, and they also ran on them to an historic rate, where James Cook had more rushing yards in a single game than anybody in Buffalo Bills franchise history had in the last 50 years. So they come out and really right a lot of wrongs coming off the bye in 2 consecutive losses. But, of course, the one thing you point to, and I think the one thing that has everybody more nervous for this game than they typically are, and, of course, you're always nervous going up against Kansas City, but the reason you're the most nervous right now, or more nervous than maybe you anticipated, is because this past game has been virtually non-existent, and there was no solution for that coming out of the bye. It was non-existent against New England. It was non-existent against the Atlanta Falcons. You lose both those games, you go into the bye, and then you come out of it, and the defense really stepped up. The run game was extraordinary. The offensive line was extraordinary. The only thing that did not prove that it had improved from what the previous games before the bye had showed us was the pass game. If anything, it was the weakest link of the team in that game. So, Rico, this is why you go into this game, and I think you have more apprehension than you have in the past, because you're worried, can this Bills pass game keep up with the Chiefs offense that looks like they're back to what they used to be not that long ago?
Well, let's talk about this pass game. I mean, let's not beat around the bush, people. We've been talking about this pass game for the last 3 weeks. So let's not pussyfoot around and get right to the shits, all right? So when talking about this pass game, when talking about Josh, let me ask this chat something. Are you guys getting, I was asking Z about this earlier. Are you guys getting like pass game woes fatigue? Are you getting Joe Brady fatigue or Josh Allen being confused fatigue? Like, has this thing kind of like annoyed you? All this conversation? And are you sick of it? Are you tired of all this conversation? But yet you can't get away from it because that's the glaring thing that's been staring at us in the face. And we're down Palmer. He's out for another week at least. He was limited in practice, so good to see. But he's going to be out at least a week, maybe 2, just to make sure he's good. Keon Coleman, you've got a lot of opinion on Keon Coleman. He's a bust. He's not ready yet. He's just figuring things out. It's not Keon's fault. He's not getting open. There's a whole lot of things going on. Curtis Samuel, non-existent. Elijah Moore has been non-existent. Khalil Shakir is our only bright spot, and he's just a very good receiver. He's not like your superstar receiver. So how do you expect this Bills team to go blow for blow with Kansas City that has Rashee Rice is back? You got Xavier Worthy, your boy. He's back from injury. He's ready to go. You got Schuster's doing his thing in the middle of the field. You got Travis Kelce trying to prove everybody wrong that he's not some fat boy from last year. He was out of shape. He didn't feel good. So he's in shape. He's feeling good. Bro, I'm not trying to gas this Chiefs offense, but like you're going to have, can you trust this defense, number one? And you're going to have to put points on the board. But Josh has been off. So we're going to rely on James Cook to do it all for you? You can't have this guy carry you like that. And sounds crazy to me because just 3 weeks ago, we're like, you can't just lean on Josh all day. Give it to somebody else. We've reversed course. Now we're like, take it easy on James Cook. We need Josh Allen to step up. So that has to happen. And this is why I don't feel great going into this game. It doesn't feel good because I don't feel good about what Josh Allen is doing. I don't feel good about how Joe Brady's calling games. I don't feel good about how our receivers are being used and utilized. Bro, I saw it. You saw it. You watched the whole segment. You made me go watch the whole segment with Steve Smith. And he was talking about all the routes that Keon Coleman is running. They got this brother running go routes 30% of the time. What? 30% of the time you're running go routes? You're not known for that. So interesting. The next highest route you're running was, I think it was a slant, I think at 14% or 18%. Bro, something's got to give. Something's got to give. So when I asked the chat this question and how y'all feel about it, do you feel fatigued? Are you kind of sick and tired of all this? Talk to me. Let me know. And Bot, I ask you, when you're seeing all this chatter with Bills fans, analysts, right, content creators, what narrative have you seen, or what narrative have you come up with that just makes the most sense for you, where you're like, I think that's the issue and here's how we can fix it? What have you seen, or what have you come up with yourself that's got you kind of, okay, I think this is where we are? And this goes for the chat as well. You guys let me know, hashtag it. Let me know and I'll read it on, but we need to talk about this, because if we're going to make a run, like my boy Z-Bot loves to say this, if we're going to make a historical run, shoot, we got to get it popping right now. And right now we ain't popping. Talk to me.
Well, you mentioned the chat. You mentioned content creators. So shout out to everybody in the chat, including one of our favorite content creators, Dan Mitchell. And this has people like Dan Mitchell and us scrambling to try to find solutions. Dan mentioned something in the comments earlier about shotgun. Dan tweeted this out a little bit ago, talking about the Bills' use of shotgun as opposed to going under center. Through the first 7 games, Dan finds out that the Bills have ran shotgun 61.4% of the time in 2024. So a season ago, through the first same amount of games, right? 61% of the time. Under center, 35% of the time. This time this year, same sample size of games, they've scaled down 11% on that shotgun formation. 50% of plays out of gun, 49% under center. So Dan's looking at it, he's thinking, well, is Josh uncomfortable because of the lack of shotgun? And I bring this up to say, we are scrambling to try to find a solution here. We are looking at everything because we can't make sense of it. This guy just won the MVP last year with Mac Hollins being your leading touchdown receiver, right? I mean, it wasn't like things have changed drastically here. The Bills didn't get worse at wide receiver. I was making the argument all offseason that they got better. They add Elijah Moore. They add Josh Palmer. You're getting another year of Dalton Kincaid progression. You're getting a healthy Keon Coleman, another year of development from him. And, of course, we hear how great he was doing in the offseason, so you're getting excited. You're thinking it's going to be better. And now we're watching this team rely solely on James Cook's production, it feels like, for their offensive efficiency. This Bills offense right now does not seem to have a pass game that you can trust to win you a football game through that element and that element alone. The only example you can bring up is the Ravens game. And I'm sorry. And Joe Brady did this, where he goes, if we need to win that way, we can. I go back to the Ravens game. Well, the Ravens game is going on 2 months ago. And we've also found out how porous the Ravens defense has been since then, injuries or not. I mean, don't get it twisted. I give the Bills all the credit in the world. That is one of the most remarkable comebacks I've ever seen. I'm not trying to take anything away. But every game since then, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen anything close. Keon Coleman, from that game on, has nearly the same amount of yards throughout the rest of the season that he had in that single game alone. Oh. You know, Josh Allen in that second half, he was incredible. We haven't seen a full game of that type of Josh Allen all year long. And there's so many different aspects of this, Rico, that people are trying to go to, right? They want to say that maybe they're trying to conserve things for the postseason. You do not conserve things when you're losing to New England at home, or you're getting blown out by Atlanta, who just got worked by the Dolphins, who just got absolutely embarrassed by the Ravens. The league makes no sense. But my point is, you don't save anything for moments down the line when you're getting beat, and beat pretty soundly. So that we can rule that out. Everybody's looking at what's going on with Josh, right? What is it? I think the reason people are trying to draw to what could potentially be an issue for him outside of the field, I think people are doing that because they're just trying to make sense of it. In reality, I don't really think it's probably, I don't think you can go to that, really, because the only reason people are is because they just can't make sense of why this pass game is so non-existent, where you go from a year where the guy wins MVP to a year now where it feels like if we can't run the football, I don't really know if we're going to have much offense to speak of in any given game. So you have people trying to draw from all these different branches, whether it's Josh Allen and what could potentially be going on with him, whether it's Joe Brady and the scheme, whether it's the receivers. I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. But I just can go back to the Carolina game most recently here, where the Bills didn't have to throw the ball much to win. We get that. We know that. But when they did throw the football, there was a lot left to be desired. I mean, that is just a fact. They throw the ball 19 times, and of those 19 attempts, I thought a lot was left on the field. The majority of these pass attempts are coming either at the line of scrimmage or shortly in front of the line of scrimmage, right? That's one thing that I look to, where it's constantly being schemed up to move the ball in short increments. And I'm fine with that to a degree. The problem is that when you're trying to extend beyond that, that's where the Bills seem to not be able to do it in much capacity at all. Outside of the Dalton Kincaid crosser route for about 25 yards in that Panthers game, there really was nothing else that the Bills were able to go to stretch the field. And it's not like that's just the only game. I mean, outside the deepest pass I can think of all year, really, is that one to Josh Palmer right before he got hurt against Atlanta. There hasn't been a whole lot of that. So if you go and watch, I think it's a mix of a lot of things. But I also think that right now Josh Allen isn't playing MVP ball. And I'm seeing Sean in the comments saying, Allen's human. On a bad streak, he will bounce back. This is where I do find silver lining in this. This is the nice thing about it, Rico. If the Bills' biggest issue right now is Josh Allen needing to figure it out, then that's probably the worst issue you could have. Because of all the things that I think the Bills would need to get right, the one thing that I have enough of a sample size to tell me it should get right would be Josh Allen elevating his game, because we have no reason to think that he won't. This is why I think Sunday is such a great opportunity, because everybody knows this is the game of the year. Whether you're a Bills fan, a Chiefs fan, or a fan of the 30 other teams, you're watching this football game, and everybody knows what this game means. So this is a great opportunity. However, if you go out again here, in that passing game, once again, there's nothing to be had. All it is a bunch of screens, and anything beyond that is virtually non-existent. When does it get to the point where we finally call a spade here? It seems like McDermott's pretty cognizant of it. And once again, I've said this before, I'm not expecting Allen or Joe Brady to tell the media, yeah, we can't throw the football right now. I get that. You got to give the PR response. But there's part of me that feels like they don't really think that there's an issue right now. I mean, when Joe Brady kept drawing to the fact that they didn't need to throw the football against Carolina to win, well, they needed to against Atlanta, and they needed to against New England, and they couldn't, and they didn't win. I get it worked against Carolina running the football. That's great. And if you can run the football like that, do it every game and win that way for all I care. But you know that that's not going to be able to happen each and every week. You know there's going to be moments where you got to throw the football. And I would imagine, Rico, one of those moments is probably going to be coming up here on Sunday. That's probably going to be the case. So I think that there's absolutely, without question to me, a noticeable deficiency with this passing offense. The question is, will it be solved? If it can be solved with the addition of the run game, and then if the defense can find a way to play like they did against Carolina, this is a scary team. But if we move out through November here, Rico, and this team still can't put together a sound passing game, you got to face facts. You're in November now. You're getting towards Thanksgiving. We're halfway through the season here. It gets to a point where it is what it is, and that isn't ideal. So we got to see it.
Can we talk? Can we talk?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, Paul really wants you to talk. Paul really wants you to talk. He's begging for you to talk, Rico. So could you please give it to me?
Let me tell you something. The last show I had, people thought I was on a heater. They said I was too harsh against Josh Allen. And even Pierre was like, bro, I always F with you, but yo, you were a little too much. All right, well, here comes Rico. Too much Rico. Here we go. Usually, you and your lady have gotten to a little tiffs, have you not? In the 10 plus years you've gotten into, I've gotten to tiffs with my lady, right? And when things are off, there's not necessarily an argument, but when things are off, you don't just keep playing along, and until things just realign themselves. You have to be, and I love to use this word, the A word. My wife hates when I use that because she knows where I'm going, and I look at it and she knows. There's accountability that has to be had here, right? We could talk about all the issues that are happening and this, that, and third. How about we single the issue out and try to get to it? We talk about, it's Josh Allen, he's not comfortable. Is it okay? And Joe Brady last year, he was doing this. But what's the problem? Figure it out. We can't just, you know what I mean? Coach McDermott kind of alluded to it. But if you guys know what the freaking problem is, fix it. Because I'll tell you right now, going into this Chiefs game, if we go into it trying to wait until the things just fall into place, The Kansas City Chiefs, led by Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, are going to expose the heck out of us. If you thought we got exposed against the freaking Atlanta Falcons, bro, we're going to get exposed at home against the team that eliminated us before going to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl. We're going to get belt to A if we don't figure it out. Yards to pass, this account on Twitter dialed up
GOAT, by the way, one of the GOAT accounts. So good.
Listen, he nailed it. He says, "Hell, you guys want to see the pretty much the formula to success? Screen. There was like 4 out of 12 completions. 4 or 5 screens were to Khalil Shakir, and another one was the button hook that he took, the stop route that he took for. The rest of them were insignificant routes. Like, dude, the problem is Joe Brady. All right, let me just cut to the mess. It's Joe Brady. If Joe Brady doesn't open up his playbook and allow Josh to be Josh, you guys can't tell me you're watching the Josh we saw from last year and the Josh we saw from the year before and the Josh that we saw from the year before that. He's not the guy. He's not looking the same. And if you go back and pay attention, I'm looking at last year and I'm like, these guys were playing free. They were playing great. There was a whole lot of freedom happening. It's like they tightened the reins a little bit, right? That's on the Joe Brady side. Now here comes Josh out, and I'm not getting off this freaking hill. Ain't nobody gonna tell me to get off this hill. Josh, on the other hand, when he's thrown 2 picks since the Saints game where he threw those picks, bro. This brother, it feels as though he's been a little gun shy, right? It feels as though he's been a little gun shy. He's a little apprehensive of going a little deep, and if he is going deep, he's way off. Or is just not a good enough effort by the receivers, because I'm not taking any blame off the receivers. I'm going to get to them. But right now, it starts with the $330 million guy. Your job is to make the others better. Now, something that someone brought up to me is pause for cause and reason for it to look it up a little bit. The receivers coach that we have right now, he's been with these guys. He's been with us since 24 or 23. I can't recall.
23.
But we haven't seen any improvement from these guys other than Khalil Shakir, bro. Everybody's stagnant. Nobody's moving. Nobody's getting to it. And I'm starting to like wonder, like, what? It makes you point back to Brandon Beane a little bit, because everybody's at fault here for this product that they're placing in front of our eyes and then calling it something that we should enjoy. I don't enjoy watching this Bills offense right now, other than, you know what I mean, my man in the backfield running all over the place and cooking it up. I don't enjoy watching this pass game. The screen game is getting old. It's old, man. Let's move beyond that. So when I see Josh not being comfortable or being gun shy, it removes the Josh that we know. It removes the Josh that we know. But you
think this is a Joe Brady problem?
Because you've got to give something to your quarterback that can get him back to being Josh. When Josh becomes Josh, he starts using his legs more. You don't really see Josh using legs more. He's staying behind the pocket, trying to go through it. He's missing his progressions. He's off the receiver too quickly. He's just not being himself. But your OC's got to help you. Your OC's got to help you, and your OC's not helping. Josh can only be Josh for so much, but there needs to be some structure. There needs to be a little bit of structure. So give him something that he can work with. But like screenplay here, screenplay there. Yeah, I just want to get him warmed up. I just want to get him the ball out of his hands and let the players do what they do. Bro, we ain't got the pieces for that. So we gotta figure it out, because right now we're on the cusp of getting absolutely rolled by these Chiefs if we don't show something offensively. It didn't look good the week before. It didn't look good the week before that. Oh, yeah, let's go back another week. It didn't look great then either. So something's got to give. I don't buy that Josh is hurt. I'm not buying that. I just don't, right? Unless he's really good at having a poker face and not expressing that, I doubt he will. I'm just not buying it. There's something up between Josh and Joe, and just it's not clicking. And Josh not having confidence in his receivers. Bro, he's moving off the receivers so quickly. The O-line is certainly not the issue. The O-line is still playing at an elite level. It's a thing that's up here with Josh, and Joe Brady's got to bring that out of him, and he's not. I'm telling you right now, man, like there's a lot of pressure on Joe Brady. Joe Brady's got a lot of pressure in this game because we watching, brother. We watching because we've already seen what Josh can do. We've seen it. The last 4 years, this guy's been one of the best in the league. Now he's just like, he's all right? No. Can't do it. I just can't see it. Joe Brady, open the freaking playbook up and figure it out. Figure it out. Has to happen.
I feel like a lot of the issues you just listed off are things that are out of the control of Joe Brady. I don't understand how Joe Brady's playbook is supposed to expand the mind of Josh Allen and allow him to be more comfortable launching it deep. I mean, to a degree, I get what you're saying, where the majority of these plays are schemed to be short yardage throws. I mean, that's just a fact. That's what it's been. At least that's what it's felt like. But then again, I watched the Carolina game, and I got Elijah Moore wide open on the left side of the field. The ball's thrown to the side. It's thrown out of bounds. I got Ray Davis wide open on the left side of the field. He's got one tackler in front of him. If he breaks it, it's a touchdown. Josh Allen skips it off the ground. You go to fourth down against Atlanta. Josh Allen throws it like he's throwing a baseball on a double play. It hits the ground. You got Josh Allen forcing things into the middle that aren't there. You got Josh Allen bailing out of the pocket way quicker than you're used to. You got Josh Allen getting rid of the football on his first read almost instantaneously on some of these plays, even though the offensive line is giving him gifts in terms of the pockets that he's standing in. And the play isn't being allowed to develop. And if you watch some of these plays develop, guys get open. I mean, when I'm watching the eye in the sky angle, the all 22 angle, more often than not, I'm seeing guys open. It's very rare, I would say, that if you watch 10 plays, maybe one of the plays results in nobody open and Josh Allen's got to bail out of the pocket and make a play. On the majority of the others, the vast majority of the others, there does seem like there are plays to be made. And this is the funny thing. If Josh were to have just hit Ray Davis on that out, right, where they fake the screen to Shakir on the right, Ray Davis wide open on the left, if he hits that and Ray Davis house calls it, and then if Josh were to hit Elijah Moore for 30-some yards on that throw, I guarantee you right now we're not even having this conversation. We would probably say, wow, everything got figured out post-bye. Not only did the Bills defense step up and get 7 sacks and shut down a really stout run game, and not only did James Cook get back to getting the ball to a capacity in which we feel like he should be getting the ball because you're watching what that results in. Not only do we have all of these things, but on top of that, the pass game back to clicking. It's amazing in this league. We know it all comes down often to an inch or a play or a moment. I really do think in that game, if you just complete 2 of those passes right there, we're thinking differently. The problem is, though, those were 2 balls that really should be completed by anybody at the NFL level, really. When you're talking about an MVP, and this is the other thing, too, Josh isn't just anybody. So you can't excuse away these easy throws. There are moments where Josh doesn't make, like, you know, there's a moment where a play might be there, but it's like a play that maybe happens on a, like an all-time play, you know, and you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, he could have made this play, but my God, like, it's an incredibly hard play to make. Some of these plays are like, dude, Josh, if you just threw it overhand to whoever it was, Ty Johnson against the Falcons, that's a first down. Maybe this game is different. If you hit Ray Davis on the numbers, that's a touchdown. You hit Elijah Moore wide open, who broke the defender's ankles on the sidelines, that's potentially a touchdown. We're not even having these conversations. So to me, and I get what you're saying, because when I look at Joe Brady's role in all of this, yeah, what was it? A quarter of the pass plays last game were screens? I get it. I mean, that's Joe Brady sending the play down. I understand that. Then again, though, there are other moments throughout the game that are just flat out being missed. And that, to me, cannot be put on Joe Brady. That's on Josh. And then that's where I'm wondering what's the cause of this? That's what we all are kind of left picking the pieces up with.
And it's interesting that you say the cause. And now most folks are now, and this is perfect, because most folks are going to say, well, the cause are the receivers. They're just not good enough. They're not good enough. Take a look at what you got. So what do you want Josh to work with? You want Josh to work with a Keon Coleman that looks disinterested, right? Or that looks like he's checked out when you look at his body language.
Is that how you feel right now?
I still believe in Keon Coleman, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of people are like, yo, like quit trying to, defend this brother. I still think he's got it. He's not some scrub. Like, we're just not using him to the best of his ability. But a receiver is a receiver. right? They're always going to want the football. And when you don't go to them, or you stop going to them, or you give them routes that are some BS, just take a look at what's happened to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is getting the football, not as much as he would like it, but he's out there pouting. So imagine what these boys are going through too. This just got to my mind right now. Here's another thing that I don't think anybody's brought up, but sometimes necessary. All right. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Ain't a soul on this team that's got big enough balls to say, give me the football. I'm not saying, I'm not condoning it, but there isn't someone that's going to say that. Why? Because Josh is Josh. He's the MVP. How dare you? But AJ Brown and Smith out there, and you got a high-powered Eagles team. He don't give a rat's A. He's like, I want the football. He's not saying it. He's there on his book. He's on the sideline reading and he'll say it in the press conference. Bro, I'm not getting the ball now. What did they end up doing? Finding ways to get him the football because you voice your opinion. When Diggs was lashing out and you know what I mean, like or being like you would say, what's the word I'm looking for?
He was doing exactly what you're just referring to, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And guess what? Then they started to like acknowledge that, yo, you have a bona fide, good, solid ass receiver, get him the football. Nobody's going to challenge a little bit of Josh to get the football. So everybody's just mum. And I'll just run my route. And if he sees me, he sees me. Sometimes maybe Josh is looking for that dog to say, excuse me, sir, give me the freaking football. Like, keep coming to me. Keep coming to me. Sometimes you have to like alert it to your quarterback and let him know, bro, enough of this crap, man. I'm your guy. Let's work something. Whether it be Kincaid, let it be Kincaid to be that guy. Okay, you guys work something. Somebody has to emerge. And just playing good football is not going to be enough. Sometimes you may have to voice it, or you might have to show body language a little something. I know it's not something you want to see because we don't want that drama in Buffalo, so keep that stuff away from us. But like, it takes maybe we do need that diva receiver a little bit just for the pecking order to change a little bit. I'm just throwing stuff out there because it just came to me just now. Because if I feel like I'm a damn good receiver and I'm not being utilized properly, and I'm letting people sully my name out there, bro, I'm gonna have I'm gonna feel some type of way because I'm not who they think I am, not who they say I am on the internet. But based on the film and based on this, I'm looking like a bum out here. But if they would give me the balls that I need, or if they put me in the right position, then maybe I could be doing some good things, right? Elijah Moore is a great athlete. Find a way to utilize him. You can't just relegate Curtis Samuel to just a gadget player. Find a way to utilize him. And this is why I go back to Joe Brady. Joe, you know your players, fam. What do they do best? You don't know what they do best? You're just making them run just regular ass routes? Fam, come on. We got to figure that out. And that's where Josh comes in. Now, I do not want to take this off of Josh because you said multiple things that were true. This guy's moving off his eyes, off the read too quickly, throwing stuff into the dirt, giving poorly thrown footballs, rushing his throws. Why are you bailing from the pocket so quickly? Bro, trust your guys, man. Trust your guys. My goodness. And the lack of trust, that's on Josh. That is on Josh. That's
I
not
agree.
on Joe.
People are trying to put that on the receivers, and I feel like it's on Josh. He's the one throwing the football.
You're throwing the football. You're in the command of this freaking offense. Figure it out, buddy. We paid you $330 million. Are we gonna rob us? Not that he has. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna talk greasy like that. But fam, earn the rest of that. You know what I mean? We gave you a whole lot of money, bro. We need that. We need that from you. And if one of these guys has to become a diva and say, I need that, then shoot, that has to happen. So if Josh Palmer comes back and he brings the Toronto man out of him and he goes, my youth, I need that, then you know what? Feed the man. Give him that football. Golly, because like I tell you right now, if you think Bills fans are melting down now, wait till this guy comes on post game. Because Bot, you know how he is on post game. When he is absolutely irrational, bro, I ain't gonna stop him. I'm gonna let him go off. I'm going to let Bot go off because that's exactly what's going to happen if we come out and give a piss poor performance at home against the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. Losing to these guys again, I'm telling you right now, I get sick of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sick of them. So Josh, this golden boy thing that you mean that people want to put you on a pedestal, bro? No, we got to knock you off that pedestal. You mean get yourself a little dirty, dust yourself off again, Climb back up to that pedestal. On your way up, start checking off the boxes so we can get back to freaking playing Bills football. Right now, we ain't playing the caliber of football that we should be at this point, at this juncture in the season. It's not happening.
I just had a power surge in this room, and that was really weird. Everything, but the power didn't go out. Everything flicked. Everything. My computer screen. In fact, my right monitor. You know how the old TVs would look? Did you see that?
It flickered for a second.
Yeah, in my computer screen, it went. You know how the old TVs would look when there was the colored bars on it?
Right.
It was that, but black and white.
I know what that was.
I
know what that was. I know what that was.
You think they're trying to shut us down?
No, I think your boy was cooking and the computer couldn't take it. He was like, bro, what's going on? Yeah, my man Z-Bot's like, yo, what's going on, bro?
Green light saying he even saw the flash. I don't know. I'm shocked something didn't explode. Well, you know I like to explode post-game after a Chiefs loss. That's when I get really in my feelings, as we all know. If you know, you know. But I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case on Sunday. And I think you touched on a lot of good things there. And I think the moral of the story here is that it's not one – the issue doesn't lie on one single person, right? I mean, I go to the Atlanta game. If we want to talk about Joe Brady's role in things, there was not one play call designed to beat that blitz. You knew going into that game that nobody blitzed the quarterback more than the Atlanta Falcons. And there wasn't a single call schemed up to beat it. All game, Josh was under duress the entire game, and there was nothing in place to try and beat it. And it looked like he was lost out there. And I got to think that, I mean, maybe a little bit of it is on him, sure. But at the same time, it also felt like he was not being put into position to succeed against a team that you knew exactly what they were going to want to do. And they had nothing to combat that. Then I go to the Carolina game, and it felt like they did have things there, and it just was Josh not taking advantage of. And then you go to the receivers, and you're mentioning the right things. You want to have that alpha. You know, you go back to some of the best you've ever seen, right? I mean, currently Jamar Chase right now and what he's doing. You go back to what T.O. was all throughout time. Calvin Johnson, you're not going to throw him the ball, right? When you have these alphas, you go to them because they command the football. A.J. Brown right now, like you're talking about. The problem is the Bills do not have a guy that can step up and command the football right now in a way that I think would be respectable. I just don't think that that's the case. You know what A.J. Brown is, Jamar Chase is, Justin Jefferson is. If they weren't getting the football and they stepped up in front of the team and had something to say, everyone's going to listen to it. I think right now the Bills do not have anybody on that offense other than James Cook that I think could make the argument to demand the football right now. That's just the way it is. I don't think that they have that guy. And they haven't had that guy since Diggs. That's the one thing you lost. And it worked out last year. Right now, it doesn't seem to be working out as well. What do you got?
And this is, I think, the conundrum that we're in. And this is how I'm like, okay, hold on. So let me rationally try to think about this, right? So we pretty much have the same receivers. Some might say we improved the receiving core rather over last year's. I think I would take Josh Palmer over Mac Hollins. I like Shavers. I actually do like Shavers. I don't think we're utilizing Shavers the way I think we should. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Not utilize them at all.
At all, right? And we have a healthy Kincaid playing right now, and we're just not utilizing this brother at all. So then it has me wondering, okay, what's the issue then? Same OC, same quarterback, better receivers, or even. Let's just call it even. The O-line's the same. What's changed? Josh has been in this game 8 years. It's not like they don't know what he does. This is what? Joe Brady's full second year? Or is this third year? I can't recall if it's his second year, third year.
Second full year.
His second full year. It's his second full year. So is it that they figured out Joe Brady's scheme and right now they don't know how to combat it? Like you said, Atlanta game, they're blitzing the heck out of us. Where's Brady in the headset saying, hey, man, listen, they're doing a lot of blitzes, so look for that hot read or whatever. But that's also Josh.
But they should have known that going in. I mean, they knew what that D was.
So I can't blame it all on the receivers. I just can't.
No.
JA-17 has to be better, and we go as far as he goes. I know I'm not saying anything groundbreaking, but right now we've been just getting by because James Cook has absolutely been on fire. And it seems like this defense is coming around. I don't want to fully put my trust in there, but right now we're leaning on the run game, and I have no problems with it. The bright side, or the silver lining in this, is if they start to stack the box and take away the run, we still have an elite quarterback that I hope can figure life out, and then we can get it going.
That's the key. Yet. Mahomes has never had a run game like the Bills currently do. Joe Burrow has never had a run game like the Bills currently do. This run game's on par with what Lamar Jackson has had his whole career, right? And that's why people are constantly wondering why the hell they can't get it done in the playoffs when they have an equally good ground game to their pass game. This is what the most frustrating part of this whole thing is. You have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and you have the second leading rusher in the NFL right now behind Jonathan Taylor, who's walking away with the Offensive Player of the Year award. That's what you got going right now. This is why it's even more frustrating. The pass game should be even easier for these guys with how much everything else is clicking. When you have a run game when you have Josh Allen, the MVP, one of the most daunting athletes to ever play the position, and you have to scheme all week as a D coordinator against James Cook the way he's playing in this offensive line, it should be a nightmare. That's what's so frustrating about this. It should be opening up things more for this passing offense, but instead it hasn't. And then you're just simply relying on that run game as opposed to allowing that run game to open up everything else. You have everything you could want right now as an offense. You have an MVP quarterback, an elite offensive line, and an elite run game. If they figure it out, Rico, they're terrifying, especially if the D, like you just mentioned, if this continues, you're not going to get 7 sacks every week, but hell, if they can find a way to channel what they did a week ago, this team collectively becomes terrifying. The one aspect is the one aspect you thought was guaranteed to be the thing that would never be an issue. This is why, to me, there's some silver lining in that, because you trust that unit out of all units on this team to be the one to be able to figure something out like this. But that, to me, is what really sticks in my craw, is the fact that you have all of these other things that teams would kill for, especially with an elite quarterback, and you're just not being able to take advantage of it. And I do think if we're looking at a pie chart, it is a collective graph of different elements that have added up to the sum that is this pass offense struggling.
Let's come back to the Bills offense and defense in a little bit. Let's switch it over to the Kansas City Chiefs. What have you been reading about these Kansas City Chiefs that have you, I mean, other than the things that we do know that they seem to be on an uprise and they're doing well, is there something that you've noticed or that concerns you, or that you feel like we could probably take advantage of that with the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know how much you've dived into it. Is there anything that stands out before I jump into the statistics of these Kansas City Chiefs and what we're to expect?
Well, I've watched pretty much every single Chiefs game. I think I have watched every single Chiefs game. There really isn't.
You a Chiefs guy?
Well, when you're on, what is it? Last year they played on every weekday of the week, right, except for one day. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to watch Kansas City. Plus, if you're a Bills fan, you're always tapped into watching Kansas City. You monitor them like a hawk because you know inevitably it's going to go through these two teams at some point, and you're always looking to see what they got, and you're always looking to hopefully see, man, where can the Bills get an edge here? You're looking at Kansas City right now, and this is the concerning thing, is that they are doing just about everything right. Right now, there doesn't seem to be a blatant hole in their game. And what you're noticing is that they do now have a receiving core that is threatening. They didn't have that last year. But now, when you have Rice, you have Worthy, you have the moments like on Monday night where Kelsey burns you for 2 massive gains. So as we know, and it's always been one of the most infuriating things of all time watching this team. No one ever seems to have an answer for Travis Kelce. Even if he's not having a great game, there's always going to be a couple moments where he's just wide the hell open. With this team right now, though, they're a lot. Last year, the offense was basically just Mahomes and him trying to figure it out. But now you're getting Mahomes, the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the NFL, which means he is putting up numbers. And the reason why he's able to do that is because he now has reliable targets. You're seeing Rice be a huge factor in this offense. You're seeing Worthy. Of course, you know what Kelsey's capable of on a game-to-game basis. And then the other thing, too, Mahomes is running the ball a lot. They don't have an elite run game, but they do, shockingly enough, Rico, have a top 10 run game in terms of yards per game. And it's because Mahomes has been scrambling more than ever. So right now, this team, when you look at them, it doesn't feel like they have a major hole. The one thing that they struggle with is play action passing. In fact, they're the worst in the NFL at it. This is why, to me, this is an opportunity for the Bills to allow that run game that their offense has been going through to open up this pass game Sunday and have a comeback type game where you watch it and say, oh boy, Brady, Allen, these boys put on a show. That's the one spot. But right now, they really do feel like they are a full cylinder in terms of everything clicking on both sides of the ball. This is why you feel as though right now, even though they're 5-3, they're 5-3 right now, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So even though they're 5-3, they do feel like the best team in the NFL. You want to say the Colts, and I think there's certainly an argument for it, but we have to base it off of history here. I mean, are we going to put all of our faith in Daniel Jones? If I see it, I mean, I'm seeing it up until this point. I'm believing in him up until this point, but do I believe him to go into Arrowhead in January and win? I will believe that when I see it. So based on not only what the Chiefs are doing right now, but of course what they've done every single year, this is the best team in football. This is why this game's so pivotal for Buffalo. I think it does prove a lot to us Bills fans based on what the Bills are capable of doing on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. And this is why we are going to jump into the numbers. We're going to find out where the Bills rank and where the Kansas City Chiefs rank and where strength can take advantage of weaknesses and where our weaknesses can be susceptible to being taken advantage of by the strengths of the Kansas City Chiefs. But before we even get into that, we got some super chats that we want to get into because we've got a room full of some folks in here. We got about 600 plus in here on an early Friday afternoon. So let me get into these super chats and see what people are saying right now. Let me jump into it right now. So first super chat coming from our guy, Mr. Lead Lobster Money Mitch in the building. What up, Mitch? Mitch says, hey, unfortunately, I think we need this W to stay competitive for the East. That's interesting. Be blessed. BF is the best YT channel, baby. Let me hit that.
Hit it.
Interesting comment from Money Mitch. He says, we need this dub. I never like hearing Bills in a scenario where they need this. The last time we were in a position like that is when Dorsey was gone, Brady got in, and we were sitting at what, 6-6 or 6-5 or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And we ripped off like 6 straight. But it was interesting to say the least because we were in that win now mentality. Are we need this win going up against these Kansas City Chiefs at sitting at a record of 5-2?
Well, here's where he's not wrong. Every single opponent the Patriots play down the stretch here, outside of Tampa Bay and our Bills, every single one of those teams has a losing record. Every single one of them. So I think the point Mitch is making here is you really can't afford to lose games. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the Chiefs or anybody. Like, you really can't, because the Patriots are 6-2. They are 6-2. Like, they're not 4-3 or whatever. Like, they're not having just a good bounce back year. Like, they are 6-2 right now with that schedule coming down the pipe here. Every single one of their remaining games, other than Buffalo and Tampa Bay, is against the team with a losing record. And that includes 2 games against the Jets, Rico, and 1 more against Miami. And I mean, like we saw Miami last night. We'll talk about it a little bit later. They just fired their GM. That's how bad things are in Miami. We know the Jets have an argument with the Titans to be the worst team in the NFL. Like, that's 3 games right there that you pretty much give them unless something explodes. So Mitch isn't wrong, but he could send this super chat in any week the rest of the season, and he would be right, because that's the fact. That's just the reality.
No, you ain't lying, and I'm with Money Mitch, man. Like, I think this is one I didn't think at first it was a must win, but we've got some tough opponents ourselves that we're going to be facing right shortly. So every win that we can get, I will take. But here's the thing: in this specific game up against these Kansas City Chiefs, I get it's a conference game, but if we lose this, it's not the end of the world for me, because I feel like we're good enough that we can still get into the playoffs and still run it. We may not get that number 1 seed. Is it the end of the world? No. But I mean, I've seen some favorable matchups. I'm looking at playoff predictions, and we might face the Pittsburgh Steelers first round, or we might face whoever. So there's ways that we can still figure our lives out and figure ourselves out and still make it to the playoffs. Number 1 seed, I think it's out the books. I don't think we get that number 1 seed unless certain things happen. It helped It'll help if we get a win and we start to kind of rack these wins up. But let's focus on trying to just get into the playoffs. And if we can steal that the AFC East, then I think it might come down later down the rope.
Now, you said it, though, by the way. If you lose Sunday, I think the 1 seed is all but toast. It's all but done.
I think so, too.
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping, or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping, or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
I think so too. I think it's and it's not the end of the world. It's okay. We've been trying to fight for that number 1 seed. Hey, listen, sometimes it ain't in the books for us. All right. We just gotta go ahead and handle our business as best we can. We got our guy Cody Benz coming in and says, hey, KC still has Denver twice. You got the Chargers, you got Dallas, and you got the Colts. So they have themselves a bit of a gauntlet themselves. So I mean, listen, maybe this win is important, right? But we need this win, fellas. That's what he's saying. We need this game. Ron Beanie Rico. I'm all for it. Zach Bot. My gosh, he gave you that name. Almost time, bro, is love. I love that. Shout out to my man, Cody Benz. We got a super chat coming in from Raldi Mina. What's up? What's Raldi saying?
Raldi is saying Bills let Keon down, not vice versa. He was never a wide receiver 1. Brady, not good pass game coordinator. We line him up with a cornerback 1 every game and tell him to go win. Brady and Bean at fault, bad offense construction and vision. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It does feel like there are times where Keon Coleman's not being put in the best place to succeed. There's also times, too, where I feel like he is open and there might not be that trust factor there. The ball's not getting to him. It also feels like the bulk share of his routes are, hey, run down the sideline and we'll see if you can catch the 50-50 ball. So there's some truth to that. Steve Smith said a lot of things, and there were some things that I thought were a bit of overkill. Like, for instance, he broke down that screen pass, telling me that there was no confidence in Keon Coleman based on how he caught it. Like, what did you really want him to do on that pass? Like, he caught it, and I don't know. He was hyper analyzing that particular play, kind of. He was reading into things there that I just thought, man, it's a screen pass. Like, this was meant to gain 7 yards.
It's not necessarily a screen pass, because there's ways. Because the way I've seen guys catch screen passes where he caught it basket. Yeah. So you catch a basket, there's not really a whole lot of like room for you to go make a move. You catch it with your hands open like this. That means you're going beyond that. You're catching the ball and going beyond that, making the next play. It looked like he was ready just to catch it and go down. And I think that's what Steve Smith was referring to. Like, it was almost like he's a possession receiver. And if he's a possession receiver, you want to treat him that way, then give him possession receiver type routes. A slant, I guess you could take a slant, a button hook, maybe a hook at the end, or a stop route, a post. I don't know. That's where Brady has to come in and figure that part out. But he did break that down a lot, where I'm like, listen, I'm sure there's other routes that he won. Show those ones off too, but he's got to make his point. His point is he doesn't feel that Keon is that guy.
But what he did say that I did agree with, I mean, there's been no evidence so far that he is an X wide receiver. Absolutely no evidence to that.
That's true.
And that's what one of his main takeaways was. And that is just a stone cold fact right now. There's been absolutely no evidence that he is an X receiver right now. You just mentioned it. It's been more possession than anything. And the times that they try to make him that X, it just feels like it's a go up and get it. Like back when I was playing with my buddies in the parking lot, one of those 500 balls. You throw it up in the air, however many points you get when you catch it. Like that isn't, to me, like the best way to utilize really anybody. Maybe Calvin Johnson. That would be it. I mean, I don't think that he's necessarily being put in the best spots to succeed. No, but I also do think that he might not be an X receiver. I mean, we talked about this earlier, that alpha. There hasn't been any sign to that with him at all. Right. There hasn't been.
Yeah. And one thing that I have to say too is it is year 2. It is year 2. We're not talking about year 4 and he's still looking the same. Year 1, he was gone for 4 games. When we saw the momentum, we had 2 back-to-back 100-yard games. Okay, we think, we got something here. So like all of a sudden he's become a bum. Nah, I am not buying that at all. That's where Josh and Brady come in. You got to do better. And that's on 1-7. 1-7, you've got to be better, period. Right? I've seen a lot of the jump balls that he's thrown Keon way too low. I'm like, well, what kind of throw is that, bro? Like, throw it up there, man. The guy's 6'4". And he has, a 34, 35-inch vertical? Throw it up there. Let him go get it. Up, down here. Nah, bro, that's on you, Josh.
Bust, we can't go that far yet, but in terms of impact, it has been sorely lacking in comparison to Xavier Worthy and Ladd McConkey. That's just also a fact. We said this the moment. This is why when I went nuts, when I went absolutely nuclear on the Bills trading that pick away so Kansas City could draft Xavier Worthy, I said exactly this. I said, you are going to compare these guys till the end of time, and you're also going to be tied to that pick, whether it works out or not, forever. And what you're looking at now is the guys drafted before and around him, guys that you could have drafted. Not to say that they should have or whatever. I'm just stating a fact that you're watching guys that were also on the board have much more of an impact on their offenses than Keon Coleman's currently having right now. Whether it's his fault, Brady's fault, Allen's fault, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, other guys in that draft class are having far more of an impact on their offense than Keon currently is right now.
Facts. That's a great damn point. And you know what? I'll further that. And when you start seeing all these guys start doing this, you have meltdowns from the fan base because they're pointing out the obvious. But when you're in the moment, you don't know if these guys are going to be good, right? I mean, we thought N'Keal Harry would have been a decent player. We thought maybe Alshon Jeffrey would have been a good player. And then look at where they're at, right? So it's a crapshoot sometimes. But if you have good scouting teams that tell you this is the guy you should take, sometimes you got to listen. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how that plays out in that war room, but we'll go from there. My man Cody Ben says, "Yo, Brady's playbook could fit in this $1.99 super chat." Listen, man, he's got his playbook is a little light. We need a little more from my guy.
It does feel light. And there's one thing that I think no one's talking about that Dan mentioned it Dan mentioned the shotgun and the under center thing. Collinsworth pointed this out on the Sunday night game against the Patriots, and he said it's almost like every single time whether the Bills are going to throw it or pass it or run it based on how they line up. Yep. And I factor that in while also factoring in that, like last week against Carolina, 1/4 of the pass game was screens, and the other an additional 1/4 was like curl routes or in routes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I mean, there is certainly what seems to be a lack of creativity. Also, no emphasis on getting James Cook the ball in the pass game either. That's just one area that does not seem to be of emphasis, and I don't know why.
This is why everybody's in this freaking asking questions, because none of the stuff is making sense, or some of it is just not gelling and computing. Hopefully over time somebody figures something out and it makes it happen. By the way, Walter, I don't like this new Invader 135. I don't like this.
Oh,
I like
wait, what? This is Walt?
This is Walter. I was like, what is this?
Change
Invader.
it back, Walt. I can't be doing this.
I can't be doing that, bro. You need to go back to Walter. I love saying my man Walter. I can't say Invader. Invader 135. Bro, you better go back to that. Anyway, shout out to you,
This name change feels invasive, Rico. It does. This is Walt.
He was throwing me off until he was like, oh, by the way, this is Walter. I was like, what? Invader? All right.
He's saying in the chat that YouTube made him do it. But that sucks.
Oh, YouTube's a hater. I think this whole ESPN and YouTube thing, I don't know what's happening with that. But anyways, you can fill me in a little bit afterwards. All right. My man Walter says, hey, under Brady, Stephon Diggs had 315 yards in 7 games. Cooper had 297 yards in 7 games. And right now, Coleman has 267 yards in 7 games. It's a Brady issue at outside receiver. And the statistics and the analytics prove to you so. Because the minute he came in, Diggs plummeted. His statistics plummeted, and we thought he was hurt. We thought all these things were happening. But you know what happened? We were winning. So nobody said tickety-boo, and neither did Diggs. And then the results happened. He left. Davis left. I mean, under Brady, on top of that, he had 7 games of 0 receptions to the point where Bills fans were praising him. I almost threw up in my mouth when I was seeing and reading this, but he's really good at run blocking. Get the F out of here with this run blocking business. I didn't pay you to run block. That's part of your gig, but your gig is to get downfield and do what you got to do. So there has been a philosophy change in how the ball gets distributed. And that's where, he made us, drink the Kool-Aid on everybody eats. Well, listen, everybody's going to eat, but you got to serve. And ain't nobody serving anything. Ain't nobody serving anything. Everything being served right now is small portions or nothing. So who's serving? Who's cooking? You know what I'm saying? The only person cooking right now is my guy, James Cook. You know what I'm saying? But he's working. He's doing what he needs to do with the O-line. Josh has got to find a way to get that apron on and start cooking right now and start delivering and giving portions out, because at one point, somebody's going to have to, in the words of Mike Catalana, I think his name is, he says, somebody's got to be a pig. Okay?
Yeah.
I want more. Oink, oink. I want more. So we'll find out which one of you guys is going to step up and try to, we're 8 weeks in. Sometimes you got to spare some of these feelings. And that's another thing too. There's a whole bunch of grown men in this thing. It's a bunch of grown men. You're not going to hurt someone's feelings by saying, hey, give me something. Keyshawn Johnson didn't give a damn whose feelings he hurt. He wanted to win. And by winning, you got to give me the ball. I think he wrote a damn book called Give Me the Damn Ball. Give me the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the name, the diva receiver is there. Like, you need them. A league without diva receivers, it can't work.
Yeah, like other than Larry Fitzgerald, like who was a great receiver that didn't have that diva element? Like I don't even know. Like,
you know what? Larry's the ultimate non-diva.
Yes. Think about it.
Megatron. I never really heard Megatron say anything.
Right, but he also retired early. Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, also they didn't do anything in Detroit. I can't blame them.
You're right.
Like I think he knew his fate, even no matter how great. Dude, they were triple teaming him on the goal line, and they still couldn't win football games. Detroit.
Marvin Harrison, I would say.
Yeah. Peyton had a good crew.
Did he ever? But you need a bit of a diva. Like I don't. The same way that we're asking for a defense to have a bit of a nasty streak to you. Come on, give me some dogs on this thing. I needed a bit of a diva. I never had a problem with Diggs whatsoever. Everybody was all crying about Diggs. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Like, I'm that guy. I'm him. Right now, ain't nobody saying I'm him. We're just like, is it your turn or is it your turn? Whose turn is it? I'd like a serving. Fam, come on, man. Yo, I demand something.
Please,
I demand more. I want 2 drumsticks instead of just 1. You feel me?
You're calling it that Oliver Twist offense, basically, the way things are going right now. I'll say this about Joe Brady. When he came in and took over, when he took over for Dorsey, what I loved about what he was able to do was he simplified everything. The run game got way better, and also they really eliminated the turnovers from Josh Allen, because I think a lot of things were simplified, and they were really good at moving the ball down the field incrementally and efficiently. What you lost with that, though, is what a bulk share of what we're talking about right now. You did lose that explosive play element. You really did. The Bills no longer seem to have that over-the-top game. That is it's emblemized by Joe Brady taking over. The things that they weren't doing well, which are pretty much the basics of an offense, running and getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand for short yardage and moving the sticks. They started doing that about as good as anybody. But what you lost with that, and this is where I wonder, if we're talking about Joe Brady, and this is just a theory, but if we're talking about his role in potentially Josh Allen being a little gun shy, everything has been underneath. Like if we're running 100 plays, what is it? 85 of the passing plays are underneath. This is where you wonder if you haven't done it for this long, is this why Josh is hesitant to do it at all?
Maybe.
And this is what makes you wonder, because it just hasn't been a focal point of the offense at all.
It hasn't been. And I feel uncomfortable watching Josh not be the Josh that we know he can be. I don't like this version of Josh. And this is not one of those things like, get used to it because this is the new Josh. Heck no, it's not. This is I would love to just like, yo, Josh, what's going on, fam? Just be honest and tell us exactly what's going on. And I'd love to know. I'm gonna and just have full vulnerability. I would love to know what he would say. Bro, I'm getting gun shy, man. I threw those 2 interceptions and I have a lot of pressure on me. I didn't want to throw those interceptions last year. I did such a good job of curtailing my interceptions. And now I'm just throwing them left, right, center. I'm not saying he's throwing a whole lot, but he's turning the ball over. He's getting sacked more. Like, bro, he's getting touched. He's getting touched. And right now, a lot of it is to do with him. He's the one that's bailing and doing all this nonsense. So he's got to be better.
To me, there's a fine line, Rico, between risk and reward. And far too often in the past, Josh Allen would try to risk it too much for a greater reward. When you gamble, yeah, you can win, but you sure as hell can lose, right? And we saw a lot of winning with Josh Allen, but we also saw far more turnovers. You've seen the efficiency of him uptick to a degree no one thought was possible. But now what you're seeing, I think, is a hesitancy to try and take those risks. If I could say one thing to him, it would be, everybody on this staff will get replaced before you get replaced. Just know that. So if you want to take a shot down the field and you're hesitant to do it because you don't think it's part of the game plan, like I'm willing to factor in a couple more interceptions here. I'm not talking about going back to a 17 to 20 interception type season. I'm not saying risk it to that degree.
Right.
But if Josh is hovering around 10 to 12 picks, I mean, Brett Favre waltzed into the Hall of Fame throwing a hell of a lot more picks than that, as did Peyton Manning, right? It can't all be just this. And I feel like there's a part of him that has become so efficient that the things that made him less efficient are now like they almost seem foreign, and they don't need to be. He can take these risks if they're there. The question, the whole point I'm making is don't do them for the sake of doing them. But I go back to the Carolina game, like just watching the film. There's a couple of plays, like the one I keep referencing, the one that was really frustrating. The one that I noticed the most in terms of like, I really thought this could have changed our perspective on the way we looked at the game is if he would have hit Ray Davis on that out to the left. But you know what else was on that play? It was a crossing pattern in the middle of the field, and it was Elijah Moore one-on-one with a receiver going to the end zone.
You got to take that.
That's a moment right there. We go, like, even if it doesn't get completed, like that's a play that you got to try and make.
Absolutely. I cannot disagree. I couldn't agree more. That was a play. And not only that, some folks are saying Shavers was the read, and he could have hit Shavers right in that little shot right there. But he didn't, and he decided to take the safe route. And him taking the safe route, he wasn't even set. His feet weren't set. His mechanics were all off. Bro, get it together, Josh. Get it together. We love you, man. We're Bills fans right now are, I don't know what it is out there in Rochester, but it's pouring out here in Nova Scotia, right?
I'm not going
to let you sit out in the rain and get pneumonia. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull out the umbrella. Okay? I like you, man. I'm not going to let you get wet. But you know what I mean? You got to take some shots. Take some shots, man. We're not going to get mad at you. Kurt Warner said it best, bro. In an MVP year, I threw 22 interceptions.
Exactly. He's a perfect example.
I still got the MVP. Now, granted, he had a very good Rams defense that could get him the ball back anytime he wants to. However, he took chances. And your receivers will love that. Oh, shit, Josh is throwing that? shoot, let me go. Because right now, if you know that all we're doing is going short, bro, I'm gonna pull up on my routes a little bit. It's a bad attitude to have, but I know they're not going deep. So what am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. I'm just burning calories. Golly, it's craziness. Let me get this.
So one thing I love about Baker Mayfield right now, like that dude doesn't give a shit. He just slings. He slings. Like that's why Igbuka is just off to an insane rookie year here. Like Mike Evans down, Chris Godwin not available, Scotty Miller not available. He's just hucking it down the field. And I'm not saying that you got to do that. And this is the one last point I'll make on this. It's hard to blame Josh here when you do exactly this, right? You scale back the deep shots and you become one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the sport and you win an MVP. It's hard to say it's hard to say you shouldn't keep doing this, right? But that doesn't mean you can't. It's almost like if you're on a diet, right? It doesn't mean you can't have a slice of pizza on the weekend. You know what I mean? Just because you're on this strict diet, you're eating grilled chicken and veggies all week, it doesn't mean you can't have some ice cream on Saturday night. There needs to be a little bit more ice cream in this very strict diet of an offense right now.
You are bang on. You hit it, and I totally agree with you. You have some guilty pleasures, my friend. Go ahead and get in there. We know your ethics, but we know your skill set. You can go ahead and do that. And right now, my money Mitch says, by the way, I give the blame 80% on Josh and 20% on Brady. I feel like Brady has 4 plays. He'll rotate through to opposite sides of the field at times, pitches, screens, etc. Most of it, though, is because of Josh, and he looks apprehensive. Here's another thing, too. Sometimes I believe it's like arrogance. There were like, if we all played sports, middle school basketball, or you played some Pop Warner football, and a coach said, run that play. But, Coach, we just ran it 3 times in a row. Run the play again. I don't care if the defense knows what they're doing. Run it again. Run it again. Almost as if it was, what do you call it, with Denzel Washington, Remember the Titans. Run it again. Run it again.
Again. So again. It's like in the movie The Miracle. Again. Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I say again is like Joe Brady's like, I don't want to call it arrogance, but we're very good at putting points on the board. And I don't care if the defense knows what we're doing. I can play off of that. So that receiver screen that they see us do all the time, Josh, look them off and then hit that honey hole shot. We've seen that play happen all the time. So it's almost as if, I don't care. I have like 3 or 4 plays. We're going to run it, but I've got variations off of variations off of variations off of that. But fam, today's defenders are too smart. They're too smart. Today's defensive coordinators, they catch on to things. They have analytics. They have AI now. So there's too much going on where you could just do that. And you're not a 25-year vet coordinator, Mr. Brady. You're 4 years in. Bro, you're not that guy just yet. So expand on that playbook so you can help out your quarterback. All right, that's last. You got something for me?
Mitch is saying something that I think is of great importance here. He's saying, I love Josh, just trying to dissect the dysfunction. This is what I think a major problem is currently. The only reason any of this is being said is because of how much we love Josh Allen and how much we know he's capable of. Facts. That is the thing I feel like is being lost here. People are so deathly afraid to criticize anything to do with him because of how great he is and how much he has saved this franchise. No one will tell you this more than I will. I am forever indebted to 17 for what he's been able to bring to my Buffalo Bills fandom. Facts. I don't need to tell you what I lived through, being born in 97, all the way through college, watching nothing but at the very best mediocre quarterback play. Tyrod Taylor, I can make an argument in my lifetime, was maybe the best Bills quarterback I had seen prior to Josh Allen. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not. There is nobody who will make this point more, there's nobody who will pound the table on this more than me. Nobody is more indebted to one single player than perhaps the Buffalo Bills fan base is to Josh Allen. And that is why I understand the apprehension to say, oh, so-and-so could have done this better to help Josh out here and there. The guy would probably tell you more than anybody else would, Allen would, that he needs to do X, Y, and Z better. And nobody's more critical of his game than him. Nobody is. The reason that we are talking about this is because we wouldn't be saying this if the expectation was, oh, Josh, can you just go out there and win us 9 games, please? Thanks. Nobody would even be bothering to talk about this. They would just keep saying, give the ball to James Cook 1,000 times and hopefully get into the playoffs. The difference is you know how great the guy is. You've never seen a talent quite like the guy. This is why you want to say, hey, dude, we know how great you are. Like, don't be afraid to just do you, man. Don't be afraid to do you. And also, in the moments that come that feel easy where guys are wide open, don't be afraid to just make the simple pass at the same time. We've seen all of the reasons to back up why the guy is one of the best we've seen. No question about it. This is why I think this needs to be mentioned, because there's the criticism is not being made because you want to denounce the impact that Josh Allen has on the Buffalo Bills in the league. The criticism is being made because you want to say this is there. You know he's capable of it, and if he does it, this team terrifying, scary.
You listen, man. You're on fire, brother. You're on fire. By the way, big shout out to my man. I don't know who Holy Hand Grenade says. Nice chilling in your stream, Z-Bot.
Holy is a loyal viewer of the NFC West Roundtable, and he has been kind enough to drop by on the Fanatics from time to time and hang out with us. So shout out to you, Holy. We'll see you Tuesday night to recap Week 9, but always great to have some outsiders that aren't Bills fans hanging out and joining with us. Holy's one of those. Appreciate you, my man.
I love it. Newbie Driver says, hey, man, Volkswagen Coleman, 100 yards, a tutty, and a 2-point conversion for the Bills to go up 32-29. Yo, V-Dub Coleman is hilarious. I think Steve Smith is one of the funniest cats ever. He was a little harsh on my squad and my guys, but I think he's hilarious. You ready for this? Dude,
the guy is hilarious. He compared. Did you notice he compared at one point something to do with Keon Coleman's receiving game to that of popping in a piece of gum at the club so you don't have halitosis? I mean, how do you even get there?
When you're a master shit talker, those things just come naturally to you.
Yeah.
They just come naturally. Like when you say ice up, son, that just comes naturally. Like that's going to be around for a long time. All right.
Hold on. One more thing I want to mention, just because I'm thinking about this on a personal level here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was a pretty good student. And if I came home and you know, part of it was a little bit of, my dad just trying to bust my stones. But if I came home after a test and I said that I got a 90, my dad would say, why didn't you get 100? He wouldn't have said that to me if he knew that I was a C student. If I came home with a 90, we'd probably go out to dinner to celebrate if I was a consistent C student, right? That to me is probably the best way to sum up what I was just referring to with the whole Josh Allen criticism thing. The reason you look at these things and call them out is because Josh Allen is an A+ student. And when the report card comes home and there's a couple of B's on there, you naturally ask, why aren't they A's? Because you know they can be A's.
Let me piggyback on that. And then you start asking questions. What's going on? Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with the wrong crowd? What's happening? Are you staying up too late? Wrong crowd, wrong receivers, wrong crowd, wrong offensive coordinator, wrong crowd. Like what's going on, boss? Because you normally are a straight A student. You're in on time. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Now you have to sit down and have a conversation. Question is, who's having the conversation with Josh so Josh can reveal what's going down? So I love that you went there, because when dad says, yo, you're a 90 student, what's going on? You should be 100. What's happening? It forces you to talk. Nothing, Dad. I need to do better. All right, next time you're going to see it. So who's saying, Josh, what's going on? I need you to be better. Josh has got to be like, I got to be better. We haven't seen that yet. Obviously, you got 10 other guys that you got to work with. So hopefully we can see something go down. I love that you went personal there, and we love it. So let's get into the numbers a little bit. By the way, Let says, go Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes. Let's get into the numbers.
I just hope it's painless, Led. Unfortunately, that game's not on ESPN, or else I wouldn't be able to watch it. Of course, it's got to be on Fox, so I'll endure that beatdown tomorrow afternoon. So Penn State, Ohio State tomorrow, by the way, Rico.
Ohio State today. All right, so here's the deal. Let's go with who do you want me to start with? Kansas City or the Buffalo Bills?
Kansas City.
Let's go KC. KC, when it comes to their offense, right now they're scoring 26.8 points a game. They're ranked 7th in the NFL. Yards per game, they're ranked 5th with 378 yards, okay? When you're looking at yards per play, 5.8 yards per play, that gives them ranked for 9th. They're top 10 yards per play. Third down conversions, they're converting at a 44% rate. That is good for number 6 in the NFL. Fourth down conversion, 82%. That's good for number 3 in the NFL. Red zone scoring, ladies and gentlemen, 70% in the red zone. They're good for 5th in the NFL. And touchdowns per game, 3.3, good for 5th in the NFL. That's the Kansas City offense.
I will also add, I saw earlier, they're scoring a touchdown on, I believe, 35% of their drives right now.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways, so you know what? Let's keep it rolling now. Should we go to the Kansas City defense or should we go to the Bills offense?
Give me the Bills defense since we just talked about the Chiefs offense.
Let's go to the Bills defense. So you heard what I said about the Kansas City offense. Let's go to the Bills defense. So the Bills defense, we are number 9 in the league, and we got teams scoring 20.9 points a game. So 21 points a game, 3 touchdowns a game. We're keeping teams to that. Well, you saw what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. They're putting up 26 points a game. Okay. Defensively, opponents keeping them at yards, 312 yards per game. That's good for 12th in the league, right? Opponent yards per play. We're allowing 5.4 yards per play. That is good for 19th in the league. So we're on the bottom half of the league. When it comes to third down defense, this is where we need to be better. We're allowing teams to convert at a 40% rate. That is good for number 23 in the league. Opponents' fourth down conversion. We are number 20 in the league, allowing teams to convert 62% of the time. Here's where this is where I'm encouraged. 55% red zone defense, and that's a scoring defense. We are number 9 in the league, right? So we're decent at defending the red zone. And last but not least, TDs per game, we're allowing 2.4, which is ranked dead middle in the league. The Kansas City Chiefs are putting up 3.3 per game. Now, you got a context of what it's going to look like. The advantage so far is obviously for the Kansas City Chiefs is they're putting up points, and we have an ability to curtail and slow down. We just need to take the ball away. Now, let's go back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go to their defense. Kansas City defense, points allowed per game, 16.4, ranked number 2 in the NFL. Boy, oh boy. The Bills are putting up 26 points. No, that's wrong. The Bills are putting up 29 points per game, which is ranked number 4. Keep that in mind. All right. Back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Offensive yards per game. Opponents, they're allowing their opponents to put 277, ranked number 4. Opponent yards per play, 5.3, ranked 13th. Third down conversions. Defensively, they're number 16th in the league. They're at a 38% conversion rate. So they're allowing teams to convert 38%, which got them half. They're at 16 in the league. Here's the big one, guys. Our opponent red zone defense, 57, and opponent TDs per game, 1.9. They're ranked number 4. So the Kansas City Chiefs not only have a damn good offense, they have a damn good defense. Big shout out to Kansas City and their offense. Let's go to their run game defense. Run game defense. 43.26%. That's how much teams are running on their team. That's 18th. 4.4 yards a pop. That's ranked 18th. So we can run on this defense, right? 22 rushes a game. 7th, right? They're relegating teams to passing, so that's what it is. But they're going up against a better offense, so that should change a little bit. So that's what I do like about this. And at the end of the day, they're allowing 100 yards per game per team. That ranks number 11. So just shy of being a top 10 team. Here's the Bills' run offense. Are you ready for this? The Bills right now, they're running the ball. What's that?
I said, sing it to me. I know it's going to sound good.
The Bills run offense. 50% of the time, they are running the football. 50.6% of the time. That's ranked number 1 in the NFL. Damn. Yards per rush, 5.2. That's ranked number 2 in the NFL. Rushes per game, 31.6 rushes per game. That's ranked number 1 in the NFL. Rush yards per game, folks, 164 run yards per game, ranked number 1 in the NFL. Last but not least, rush touchdowns per game, 1.9, which is ranked number 2 in the NFL. You'll love to see it. Here's what I got to show you guys, though. The Bills run defense. You guys ready for this? Because it's not great. We are allowing teams to run 47% of the time, 25th in the league. Opponent rush yards per run, 5.5, 31st in the league. Opponent rushes per game, 27 rushes per game, ranked 22nd. Opponent rush yards per game, 150 rushing yards per game, ranked 31st. And last but not least, we are allowing 1.4 rushing touchdowns per game, ranked 31st. Guys, we are freaking dead last in running and in defending the run. Dead last in defending the run. So hopefully with the addition of Michael Hoyt, Ogunjobi, that can slow these guys down and we can make this a game. But I'm not a big fan of this. Now, we've been talking about this passing offense. We've been talking about it all afternoon. Let's talk about these Buffalo Bills and what they're doing passing. And some of these stats might surprise you. So we are passing 49.54% of the time. We are dead last in the league in how much we're passing. Dead last. Here we go. Completion percentage, 67%, ranked 12th. Yards per pass, 8. 8 yards per pass, ranked number 6. Bizarre, isn't it?
Yes.
Passes per game, which is so odd. Passes per game, 29. We're throwing the ball 29 times a game. We're ranked 28th in the league. 218 yards per pass. 218 yards a game passing, ranked 15th in the league, right in the middle of the league, right? And then the rest of these stats are right in the middle. Interceptions thrown percentage, 1.9. He's holding on to not become turnover Josh. So we're in 15th. We're 15th in the game right now. And QB sack percentage. Guys, we were number 1 in the league of being sacked. 17th in the league, 6.45% being sacked. Bro, passing offense, we need to be better. We need to be better. And here's the passing defense for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I will run it back just so you guys know. I hope you guys are understanding these stats and you guys are appreciating these stats that I'm breaking down to you. Here we go. Kansas City Chiefs passing defense. These guys people are passing on these Chiefs 56% of the time. 15th. Opponent completion percentage, 69%. Josh is at 67%. All right. That's ranked for 68. So we have an ability to pass on this defense a little bit. All right. Here's where they tighten up though. Opponent yards per pass, 6.7. Josh is at 8. These guys are at 6.7. That's 10 in the league. They're a top 10 defense in defending the pass in terms of yards per pass. Opponent passes a game, 27.9. Josh is at 29. That's dead last. These guys are allowing teams to throw 27.9%. That's ranked number 6 in the game. It gets even better for these guys. Opponent pass yards per game, 177. Josh is throwing 218 yards per game. So these guys are defending the pass quite well. They're number 3 in the game. And last but not least, opponent interceptions thrown. They are 11th at 2.69%. And then getting sacks, they're 7%, which is 14th in the league. They're damn good on that end. Now, last but not least, the Bills passing defense. Are you ready for this one? Last but not least, here we go. The Bills right now, and it's mixed bag here. So 52% of the opponents are passing against these Bills. That's 8th in the league. Opponent completion percentage, 64%. The Bills are 13th in the league. Opponent yards per pass, 6.7. Top 10, they're 9th in the league. Passing opponents, they're passing the ball 27 times. Right there with the Chiefs. They're at 27. They're number 3 in the league. The Bills, opponent passing yards per game. This shocked me. 161 yards per game. They're number 2. Their passing defense in yards per game, they're number 2. Can you believe that? I didn't think I'd see that. And lastly but not least, sacks. Right now, the Bills at 10.3%. They're number 2 in the league in terms of percentage sacks per game. Folks, the numbers are right there for you. Those are into the numbers. We'll see how the Bills play out in this at the end of the day. When it comes to turnovers, this is where we have to have the advantage. We must have the advantage. We just forced 3 turnovers last game. We need to force them again. The Bills right now are plus 0.3 in the turnover margin. And right now that's good for 11th in the league. So this is where we have to be better. But here's where we're not good. We're not disciplined. 20th in the league in penalties per play at 0.6. So almost a freaking 0.6 penalties per play. Dude, we've got to be better. 58.7, that's penalty yards per game. We're ranked 21st. This is where we kill ourselves. We absolutely kill ourselves. We got to be better. So those were into the numbers. Did anything stand out to you, Z-Bot? Because I know there's a lot of numbers, and I'm putting out there for y'all, but these are the things that we needed to know when it comes to it. So where can we take advantage? It's glaring. Run the freaking football. And if we can run the football, get those guys sucked into the box because they want to stop Josh Allen and James Cook so bad. Hopefully then Kincaid, Elijah Moore, Keon Coleman can open up something and then give us something to cheer about. But if we don't get that going, boy, we are cooked. We're cooked. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the key, because the Chiefs defense 16th, so like dead middle in the league in terms of defense efficiency against the Bills or against the rushing attack. Meanwhile, the Bills second overall in rushing efficiency, the number one team in yards per game. So there's some aspects of this game that I think do benefit the Bills. One being that Isaiah Pacheco will not be in this football game. Mm-hmm. And I know that might not seem like a massive impact because he's not considered to be one of the top running backs in the NFL, but he has done this year what he hasn't done in the past. That has also been a massive problem for the Bills in terms of their run defense. He has really bolstered his ability to generate explosive rushes, which are 10 plus yards. On all of his attempts this year, 11.5% of them resulted in an explosive run. That's almost quadruple what he was putting up in terms of the numbers a season ago. But what might offset that, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier, the reason why the Chiefs are a top 10 rushing offense in large part is because of what Mahomes has been able to do on the ground.
Yeah.
He has 13 explosive runs this year, Rico. 13 explosive runs. Patrick Mahomes, 13 runs of more than 10 yards, which is pretty wild. So he really has been running the football more than ever, and he's been running it really well. So one of the keys in this one, keeping an eye on Mahomes in the ground game. That's the key, because he will run it. He will. Now, the other thing, too, is that you mentioned how prolific Kansas City's passing offense has been, but the Bills, oddly enough, that has been their strong suit. And I wonder how much of that is because other teams have had much more of a focus on running the football than passing it, and that's why the numbers look the way that they do. But something's got to give in this one, right? If we're just looking at the numbers. Bills passing defense, Chiefs passing offense. So that there's a couple of things that this one comes down to. The Chiefs passing offense versus the Bills passing defense. Can they offset what Mahomes and this attack has been doing? And then on the other side of things, can the Bills take advantage of a run defense that isn't considered to be one of the best in the league? I mean, we'll just put it that way, right? This is a running defense that I do feel like the Bills will have opportunities against. They went up against the Panthers team on Sunday that was considered to be one of the better running defenses in that regard, and they were able to go nuts against them. They went nuclear against that Carolina run attack or that run defense. So I do think there's a couple elements in this game. But when you look at the overall picture, man, do a lot of these things not seem to even out? These teams do seem to be very similar in so many different ways. That's why when these teams play, so often, Rico, it comes down to a play, one moment. And this is why if the Bills win, this series will be 5 apiece. So it's no secret as to why when you're reading all those things off, a lot of things do seem similar or negate each other based on what they're going up against. So I think it's going to be another one of those games where it's going to be tight throughout and it's going to come down to a play or two.
And you're not going to see anybody be conservative. It didn't happen. It hasn't happened between these guys before, and it won't certainly happen now. 4th and 2, you think I'm punting it? We going for it. But
you got to.
The way this offense has been playing, we might see some. Hey, let's get the punter out of here and get this thing going. Now, I do want to bring Silas's point here, because this is something I've mentioned a couple weeks ago when against the Falcons, and then obviously last week too against the Panthers. Josh is hurting his chances for success on off-script plays by not playing in the structure more. Facts. When Josh stays within the offense fine. It's when Josh wants to do Josh things. And then it forces receivers to now abandon their actual route and then have to now adjust to Josh's backyard football. Guys, chat, if you guys remember, we were talking about this. Josh has got to curtail that backyard football and get back to the structure of the offense. So Joe Brady might be like, dude, I know you're going to do Josh things, but fam, if you just trust what I'm doing, it's going to be there. Just trust it. And Josh is getting a little jittier. He's getting a little jittery. And I think this backyard football needs to kind of soften up a little bit. I'm not saying don't be you, Josh, but you ain't got to bail so early and then force guys to say, whoa, I got to abandon my route and come back to the It's not the same. It really is the same. So hopefully a lot more of Josh under center, because I think he's a lot better under center rather than in shotgun. And hopefully we'll see some. So big shout out to my man Silas Whittle. And Silas mentioned something about he's kind of cleaning up his image. Boy, what are you trying to clean up your image for? For who? And for what exactly? You trying
I
to
didn't
change
know he had
people?
an image that he had to clean. What was wrong with the image?
Me neither. You better stay the way you at, bro. Don't change for nobody. Get out of here with that. Anyway, much love to my man Silas Whittle. So I had a question for you, and I think I was gonna put up. Damn it, I didn't see it. I lost it. Golly. I had something for you, and then I lost it. My bad, big fella. So where are you at now? Now that this game, we have our numbers. We know where we're at. We see what's happened with these Bills. Obviously, you don't want to choose these guys to, lose this game. I don't know how you feel. Do you want to keep that for the pregame show? Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
I'll keep it for the pregame. We got to have a little bit more to talk about on the pregame, so I'll save it for that.
Okay.
But I think it's obvious. The Chiefs are the better football team right now. The Bills got to go out and prove that they are on par with what the Chiefs have been over the last month and a half or so. That's how I see it. They really went a long way last week, in my opinion, showing us a lot of great things. Once again, that Panthers team was not a pushover. They're not a Super Bowl contending team, but they're not a basement dweller either.
Absolutely.
And the Bills dominated them. They didn't just squeak out a win. They destroyed them. The one thing I'm looking at in this game, I really want to see. I want to see a pass offense that looks like a pass offense that I trust to win a game like this, because these are the games you're going to be faced with in January. There's just no other way to put it. So that's what I'm looking for in this game. I am really looking to see if the Bills can generate a pass game in this one to where you walk away from it saying, man, they really stepped up and were able to use that asset to be in the football game throughout.
Well, if you're going to generate a pass game, you better have some receivers to go with it. And guess what? Josh Palmer is out. He was deemed out alongside Daquan Jones, which we knew was probably going to happen. And Shaq Thompson is out dealing with a hamstring injury. So the final injury report is out. Terrell Bernard, full practice. He is a full go. Joey Bosa, full go. Ray Davis, he had a bit of a sickness. He's ready to go. He's full go. Taron Johnson showed up on the injury report, right? Limited and questionable. Now, Taron hasn't had the greatest year this year. He hasn't. He's not looked great. If you look at his metrics, they ain't good, right? And I don't want to sit here and I guess hold on to what Taron was last year and the year before, and he's all pro. We talking about this year, right now. So what I'm trying to figure out is, bro, him going out, does that open up the game and open up an opportunity? I mean, I'm not saying he's out, but they're saying he's questionable. Jordan Hancock getting in there, the rookie getting in at the nickel spot. So that should be something for us to pay attention to. So Taron Johnson, we're going to be monitoring him. We'll see if he goes. He gives you a bit of a dog mentality. He will get in there and tackle. Jordan Hancock presents some abilities to do that. He ain't no Taron Johnson in terms of how he can get in there and tackle. But looking forward to seeing 3-7 get in there and do what he needs to do. Anyways, Matt Milano, pectoral, he's going to be full go. It would have been lovely to see Matt Milano and Shaq Thompson together to see what that looks like. But it's going to be Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard back in it, pass covering linebackers for the likes of Travis Kelce and them boys. Jordan Phillips, he's good to go. He's on the roster now, so we can talk about it. And then lastly, we had a limited Matt Prater that was limited. So look for maybe Mr. Tyler Bass coming back sometime soon if this lingering calf starts to stick around a little longer than you want to. By the way, Silas Whittle says he's starting his NFL Scouting Academy in January, so he's got to get a little bit more corporate. What are you, corporate Silas? Corporate Whittle? Button up?
That's cool. That's awesome.
Attaboy, man. Shout out to my man Cy, man. By the way, outside of Bills talk, I mean, before we get it, Taylor Rapp being done for the year. Did you see that coming?
No, I didn't. Surgery announced today. He's going to be done for the year. Didn't see it coming. But now you have to see what you got in Jordan Hancock, and Jordan Poyer now stepping up too. But I like what I saw from Hancock a bit. I'm also looking forward to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what Maxwell Hairston has against this wide receiver core this upcoming weekend, right? What's that going to look like against Worthy and his speed? Yep. I saw some good things last week. He only played about 44% of the snaps. We'll see what that looks like this upcoming weekend, but a great opportunity for the first-round draft pick to try and make it against one of the best passing offenses in the NFL.
No question. By the way, welcome back, Walter. I didn't like that invader name, so welcome back.
There it is.
He's like, I'm not a big Palmer guy, but through his career with the Chargers, he would have some of the best games against them. So shame he won't have in. I still truly, honestly believe in Palmer. I think he's a great route runner. And
just when they were starting to get him going against Atlanta,
man. I know that's the killer part. All right, one last thing before we get out of here, because I want to talk about three things that I'm excited about, or three players that I'm excited about. I'll tell you right now, man. I think Michael Hoyt.
Oh yeah,
coming onto this team, I think he's going to be a difference maker in this Kansas City Chiefs against the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think the motor's there, fresh legs, and I think he's going to move Pat Mahomes off the mark and allow us to try to take full advantage of things. So I'm looking forward to that. James Cook, I want to see more of James Cook. I think James Cook hot right now. I don't think he feels like he can be stopped right now. So feed the beast, feed the chef, let him cook, let him do what he does. So Hoyt, James Cook, and ultimately Josh Allen. I need something from you, bro. And we'll talk more about it on the pregame. Anything else that you got for us before we want to dip out, or you want to talk about Miami Dolphins?
Well, three players for me. It would be Harrison, as I mentioned. Hoyt's a good one. I'll go with that too, because man, if he can keep going what he did last week, look out. And then Josh Allen, of course. This is a big game for Josh Allen. Waiting for him to show us that MVP level, and this is a perfect time to do it in this upcoming game. Speaking of this upcoming game and talking about it all evening, let's head on over to Sleeper, where they have you covered this upcoming week to get your picks in for Bills, Chiefs, and all the Week 9 games. You can check Sleeper out right now, completely free. Link in the description below. You click that link, you sign up, and once you sign up, you will immediately get a free $20 entry that you can use on Bills, Chiefs, or any game in Week 9 or any sport, NBA, NHL, in full swing right now. So you go to the link in the description below, click that, sign up, boom, you're ready to go. Free $20 entry. Once you've used your $20 entry, use the promo code BF25. That will get you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Once again, the promo code is BF25. Shall we build a slip, Rico, real quick? We got to win one of these.
Before you build your slip, let's build a slip. But before you build a slip,
okay,
Thursday nighter failed again.
Come on.
Who Henry. No touchdowns?
I know.
Waddle?
Against that run defense and the amount of points they scored, what are the odds?
Buddy, I have been terrible. This is why I don't do this. This is why I just can't. So, folks, don't listen to what I say, man. But it's still fun. Let's build a slip.
Let's see if this can get us off the schneid. Let's see if we can finally get a W on the board here. Okay. So, is there one thing that before you even look? Is there one thing where you're like, I think this is going to happen in this game?
Well, James Cook has been too hot. So, what do they got for James Cook? He's hot right now.
So his rush yards right now is at 73.5.
Okay. I was going to say in the high 60s, low 70s. 73.5.
I like him to score a touchdown. That number is a little high, but
what do you like? I'll let you pick this one. I'll let you pick the first one.
James Cook to score a touchdown.
James Cook to score a touchdown. And their rushing defense is not bad. It's not
the strong suit, but it's certainly not bad. No, I mean, that's
I'll take that too. Give me a touchdown. That's the easy one.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not a bad run defense at all. I mean, they're just outside the top 10 in terms of yards per game. But James Cook, like I said, they go against the Panthers team that was right up there, and he was averaging 11 yards per carry. Plus, we've seen in the past, the Bills do like to establish the run against the Chiefs. Even when they've had stout run defenses, they do like to run the ball. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here's one for you. What do they got Coleman at? Or Khalil Shakir, one of the two. But Coleman I'm more interested in because Palmer out, he's gonna have to be featured. Or I don't want to say featured, but they're going to go to him. So, like,
Coleman's at 3.5.
All over Khalil Shakir. McDuffie's going to be all over Khalil Shakir. So now what?
Coleman's at 3.5 receptions, and his yardage is at 42.5.
Oh, my God. What insult. Insulting. What do you think?
I'm not touching that one.
Man, my man said take the under.
I'll tell you what I would like to see. Kincaid 35.5, smashing that more. Smashing more on Kincaid 35.5.
Yep.
I mean, that's to me, that is what that needs to happen. If you want to win this game, that needs to happen. He needs to have more than 35 yards. Then Xavier Worthy touchdown because it's just against the Bills. I mean, that's just the only way. I got no other analysis other than the fact that it's the Bills, and I think Xavier Worthy gets in the end zone. So let me find that, because doesn't that just seem like it'll happen?
I mean, Rashid Rice is there. Yeah, I mean, listen. All things are on the table right now. What they got for Josh Allen yards?
Josh Allen yards.
They say 232.
238. Mahomes 270.
Golly, they're pretty much telling us what Mahomes is going to do. He's going for 300 yards.
Mahomes has done this. If we're looking back here, Mahomes, as it is right now, that's what he's basically been doing each and every week. Patrick Mahomes, since week 5, has the most yards per game through the air in the NFL. So that's what we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of that. But we have our 3 picks. Let's roll with it. We have James Cook, anytime touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, more than 35.5 yards. Xavier Worthy, anytime touchdown. That is a multiplier of 6x. If you want to tell that one or create your own, link in the description below. Click that, sign up. You get that free $20 entry with Sleeper. You also get a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit using the promo code BF25. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently available in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. We got a lot more for you, but we're going to save that for the pregame on Sunday. So this game kicks off 4:25 Eastern. We'll be on with you about an hour before, around 3:30. And we'll dive into it. We can't wait for this one. It's the game of the year every year. We can't wait. Rico, until then, what else you got for the folks?
Listen, until then, we just gotta, get on Twitter, talk your ish, and we'll see what takes place, man. We gotta. Hopefully, we can squeeze this one up. But I'll tell you right now, man, I don't feel good. Maybe by Sunday, I'll be like, you know what? I changed my mind. I feel real good, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm hoping we can too. I really am hoping. But in the meantime, it is Halloween night. Go and enjoy it. Have a ball. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Enjoy your Saturday as well. We'll be back with you Sunday for the pregame. Pierre will be with you, of course, throughout the game. And, of course, Rico and I will be with you postgame, hopefully talking about a massive W. But we will see you pregame Sunday about an hour before kick. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into this one. We'll see you on the next one. Much love, as always, and go Bills.
Let's go.